Hello, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy, a weekly movie and video game podcast where we make a new universe our home every week. This is episode number 93, and as always, with us we have Brandon.
Snake! Snake! Snake!
Nice.
That was
and
an easy one, I guess.
Guess
which game that was from. Let's see if you can guess mine.
Eric, fire away.
The flow of time is always cruel. Speed seems different for each person, but no one can change it. A thing that does not change with time is a memory of younger days.
It's got to be Zelda.
It is, yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Which is one of the games that I played.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this week we are hitting up the retro games. We're digging our old consoles out of the closet, ripping out our emulators, all that kind of visiting our nostalgia from back in the day.
Emulator? What's an emulator? I don't know what that is.
I'm sure you don't. Yeah, but we wanted to kind of go back and because we're playing a lot of new games. A lot of these old games are a little bit quicker, a little bit easier to get in, a little bit, I guess, more digestible, a little more bite size, you could say. How did your guys' week go playing this old stuff?
A little retro roulette. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
I like that retro roulette.
It's such a change of pace
Mm-hmm.
from what you're used to playing. Like you said, it's a lot of quick hits, a lot of like bouncing around to different things, just checking out a bunch of different stuff at once. You could easily play like 20 different games in one night, and like it just feels like it's crazy.
Yeah, you know why? Because I get so fucking frustrated that I'm like, and I'm done with you. I'm done. This is the first level.
That's why
this
we
is
have
too hard.
save states these days.
Yeah, I
Challenge
know.
it. That's a whole different story.
So I was like, next game.
Cool. Well, I guess before we dive too far into it, let's let people know where we are, how to get a hold of us, how to submit stuff to us. Did we have any socials this week, Eric?
I don't think we did, which leaves us more time for discussions.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, if they do want to get a hold of us, Eric, how would they do such a thing?
Sure. You can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. Can go to the nomadsoffantasy.com/discord and follow us there. Yeah. All that good
check
stuff.
out What Map Game.
Yes, check out whatmapgame.com
.com.
if you want to play our game that we created.
Yes. And yeah, come play in the Discord where we're always arguing about random video game facts and all sorts of stuff. So nice. All right. Well, let's take a little break here. And
we did have. Hold on, guys. I checked. We do have a couple comments.
Oh, we do.
From Twitter. Yeah. So yeah, usually I do the Twitter, but yeah, thanks. I think Dave hopped in.
Yeah.
Maybe put this one out there.
Oh yes,
we did get a couple comments.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to rifle through those.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we got some.
Thank you.
Yes, I can't forget these, especially since they're from some of our biggest fans of the show. Jake Iveson, our good buddy,
Jake,
says Mario Party 3 is the best in the franchise, a real joystick breaker, and Pokemon Stadium. We were just asking for some retro recommendations. But yeah, Mario Party 3 is
Pokemon
great.
Mario
Stadium
Party 3 is that
Pokemon Stadium's N64. Mario Party 3 is also was that N64
Nope,
or was
64.
that okay, yeah. 4 was GameCube. Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Totally 80s 90s recall podcast says Pitfall, Dig Dug, and Zaxxon.
Yes, Zaxxon.
I don't think I've ever heard of Zaxxon before.
Take their recommendation. I had to
Yeah.
I had to dig a little bit for that one, but I did find it out there.
And
Classic.
also our good friend Driving D-Van says, if any of you are fighting game fans, Flying Dragon for N64 is an interesting one. It has a child-modeled Mortal Kombat / Street Fighter perspective story mode and an adult-modeled Tekken perspective versus mode. What? Never heard of this. Flying Dragon.
Never
But it
heard
sounds
of that, but it
pretty
sounds amazing.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at some of the screenshots of it. Yeah, it looks
Good
kind of like a
recommendation, D-Van. I've never heard of this one.
classic fighting game. Fighting games back in the day were a little tough because frames of animation.
I got one.
lagging
I got one
and-
to chew on.
Sure. Let's give us something before we hit break here.
It's Tekken 3.
Tekken 3.
I prefer Tekken 2. Tekken 2 was just always the one that I played growing up.
Who are you Tekken 2?
Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, but Tekken 2 especially. I beat that game so many times.
No.
Yeah, Tekken Tag tournament was really good in college because everybody was there to play, and that was like a 4-player version.
Nice.
Sweet,
Well,
that's
that's a
pretty good.
good
Yeah,
rec. Well,
I feel like Tekken 2. That's probably the fighting game that I've played the most, and I've never really been like a super into fighting games. I've dabbled,
It was a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tekken games are fun.
Nice. All right. Well, let's cut it there. We're gonna get into a little break here, and then let's play some cool music, and let's talk about some retro games.
Sweet.
Yeah. And we are back, Nomads, my retro friends, my pixel-based amigos.
Pixel Pals?
Excuse me, hold on. Excuse me.
Pixel
I'm just
Pal.
gonna
Ooh, I
put
like
my
that one.
quarter. I'm gonna put my quarter right here in the corner. That's my quarter. So you
Oh
know.
my god! Remember those days when you had to wait in line
Fight
for
for the
games?
machine.
Wait in line. Oh, dude, you couldn't wait because winner stays on. It
Mm.
meant something to win back then, David.
I mean, going back and playing old games, like it's weird how far we've come, and at the same time, you know, the monetization was there in the 80s. It's just a different kind of monetization than, you know, instead of a Game Pass now or a, you know, season pass or whatever, back then, you know, it sucks the quarters
They
out
just
of you.
make it hard as
dollar by
fuck, so you
dollar.
got to keep pumping quarters into it if you want to keep playing.
I mean, it's its own thing, but yeah, we're talking about retro games this week. I guess where did we draw the line? It was anything PS1 and earlier.
Eric had a
Is that
pretty
what-
good. I
I
like his
thought-
range. It was like
What's the dividing line?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's hard. Like PS2 and Xbox, original Xbox, if you think about it, those are over 20 years old at this point.
Yeah,
right. Like you can vote. You can go in
Yeah.
the military. Like I think like that's old.
Yes.
I think. Well, what does a classic car have to be? Classic car has to be 25.
I think it's
years
25, so it's close. It's close.
old. Yeah, I'd say I'd probably right around there. But I stayed mainly pixel based. I
think
got the arcade.
The
going
newest I
again.
got up to was PS1, so it was all the way from Atari, working my way up to PlayStation 1.
And
then
2000,
64.
I think, was
Yep.
my cutoff.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, you guys said you enjoyed your time. What? Let me hear
Yeah, that was fun.
the favorite retro game you played this week.
Favorite retro game.
Whoever wants to go first. Something.
I mean, mine was
something that you went back
my,
to
my,
and
my quote was
Snake.
Solid Snake.
Yeah,
which
Metal
one
Gear
was that one
Solid,
from?
first one.
Metal Gear Solid, the first one, the one that was on PlayStation 1.
Played on PlayStation. How'd you play it? You played it on a PlayStation?
I forgot I had this damn PlayStation Mini thing.
Oh, you got the mini.
Oh, okay, nice.
And well, I have a regular PlayStation, it's just barely. I have a PS2, not too far from me. I have a lot of the old consoles, but having the games and all that stuff, clean controllers, just whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I scooped one of those up, and it has a couple of cool games on there. But I have to say, Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1, I was like, how? Because I was playing all the other games on there, and there's a lot of old ass games on there that's just like they don't like Twisted Metal.
Like,
Was
is it
horrible.
chunky? A lot
I
of those
couldn't
early
tell
3D
what I was
games are
looking at.
rough.
It is the ugliest game I of the most popular games I checked out. And I was just like, and it was better in my head.
Definitely rose-colored glasses for that
It
one.
was extremely, and
I remember it
forget
being
that
fun.
There's no dual analog, so it's just like
Yeah,
left, right,
it's
up,
before
down.
the DualShock. Yep.
Yeah, it's really just a
Oh, yeah, that's
refined
weird.
version of the Super Nintendo controller. They just put two trigger or something like that. But anyways, yeah, I was just blown away.
Was that the
this is on
first time
same
you played it?
engine?
Metal
No, I
Gear
played
Solid?
it back.
Okay.
I played it and all that stuff.
I wasn't sure because I knew
See,
you
I don't
weren't.
know if I played that
Played
one.
it a couple times.
So
I didn't know
I think it's
if
a
you
game
were a
hole.
big Metal Gear guy.
I played 1, 2. I enjoyed them, and then I kind of trailed off. I think I got an Xbox, and I just kind of stopped playing Metal Gear games. And I tried playing 4, and the 20-minute like cut scenes were just obnoxious, and I was like, man. But I did start playing 5, like a month ago. It was like $5. I'm like, oh, I'll play that for $5. Like, if I don't like it, well, whatever. A cheeseburger costs more than that. So I actually enjoyed it. So, anyways, real quick though, Metal Gear Solid. It's just I'm blown away that this is on a PlayStation. I've never, especially at the time it was made. It still holds up. It's
Really?
well done.
I have to go back and check that one out because I don't think I played those ones. But even like those early 3D games, like the texture quality wasn't
Right.
there. Like
Right. You got to
a
be
lot of
very
them-
careful with how you approach the art style, which is, I think, why
Mhm.
Super Mario games look good, because they had a cartoon style. They weren't going for realism at all.
you do a lot of flat colors. You don't need to have like
Mhm.
rock textures on
Good
things or
contrast.
anything like that.
Nintendo's always been good about that.
Nintendo's
Amazing about
really
that,
good
yeah.
about that.
Like their games, no matter like even Super Mario 64, still like it's polygonal, but the way it's simple colors.
Crazy.
There's not complicated textures, so it still holds up and still looks good.
I know. And I was checking out games that I skipped over on all these different consoles, and it's like, yeah, there's a reason why you're not remembered. You're ugly, and you do not stand the test of time. Your
Tell 'em.
gameplay's inferior. Your artwork is inferior. You're really just trying to bounce off of what Nintendo did. I really think, for me, I didn't play any Sega Genesis or Sega consoles really. It was mostly Nintendo, PlayStation, and old PC games. And I mean, Nintendo really set the bar, and no one even came close from my quick run through over the last couple of weeks of doing this.
Nice. How about you, Eric? What's your favorite one that you went back and grabbed?
It's a tough one. I have so I have one, my quoted one, which was Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that game, every time I boot up that game, I get chills. Like just the menu music when that turns on, like
Yeah.
there's something about that game, and that just like
Beautiful feeling.
gets me every time I play it. Yeah. It's like I said, I was saying this in Discord. It sounds cheesy, but like every time I boot it up, it's like a magical experience. There's something about Zelda games that really, really get me in that mood.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this is probably the game that I have started the most, but I've never actually finished it before. So it's funny. I was talking to our friend driving D-Van in another Discord earlier today, and I have made a vow that 2023 is going to be the year that I finish Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
How many
nice.
hours?
Finally.
How many hours is it? I mean, it's an N64 game, right? I mean, it's
Yeah, it's Zelda games are typically like 10, 15 hours long.
You can do
So
that.
it's probably in that range.
You can do that
It's not
in a
not
week.
horribly long, but it's just there's always a point that I get to where I fall off for whatever reason. It's usually the first like time jump where you become adult Link, and then I play a little bit and then I fall off, but I want to get over that hump.
Well, it says here, main story takes 26 and a half hours
Okay, damn.
for Zelda.
oh boy.
Main and sides, you're
Surprised it's
looking
that
at
long.
30 plus for.
That's one of the longer ones.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, Breath of the Wild is probably the longest Zelda game, but usually they're in the 10, 15 hour range. But
Yeah,
well,
you can crank through some of those real
shocked.
quick.
well, my vow still stands. Hold me to it. That I will finish Ocarina of Time in the year 2023.
Would you
for
play
the
it
first
on?
time. I played it on Switch, Nintendo Switch Online, the Switch version.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've played
Sweet.
played like every version of that game. I have the
Oh,
3DS
played that.
version, which is like considered like one of the best versions because there's remastered graphics in that one, and you have like the dual screen, so you have like the map on the bottom and some of the other controls on the bottom too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this version I played the Nintendo Online version, the N64, so I really want to finish that game. But the other one that's like tied for my favorite game that I played
Yeah.
for this whole retro roulette is a game that I played for the first time that I've never played before. Chrono Trigger.
Oh,
really? I've
thought
heard
about
so many good
touching
things
that.
about that game.
I think I've played
I've
it
not-
maybe once briefly.
Yeah, I mean, people regard it as like their favorite game or one of the greatest games of all time, and I'm like, okay, this is my chance.
That's a good one to go back to.
SNES, correct?
To finally check it out and play it. Yeah, Super Nintendo.
Squaresoft.
Yes, yep, published by Square, and developed. But yeah, it's good. I'm not the biggest JRPG fan, but like just the art style, and this is another win in the win column for me for this game. The art is done and the character design is done by Akira Toriyama, which is also the same artist from like Dragon Ball Z, which you guys know how much I love Dragon Ball Z. So like all the art and designs are done by him. So it's, it feels like that world. So it's good though. And like it has the thing that's cool about it with the combat system, you can choose between either like your traditional turn-based RPG combat or the active battle system, which is like, Final Fantasy.
I think this is the same people who did The Secret of Mana, and that was a really fun game on Super Nintendo. It's one of my favorite RPGs, and it's the same thing. And that was up to 3 players too. That was really cool, beautiful music and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like I need to play this game, and
I'm into it. Like I played a couple hours of it.
Where was it? On Switch Online?
This one this one's a little bit harder to play. I had to break out the old emulation machine to get this one going.
I thought you were on the Switch.
You can it's not available on Switch. You can't play it on Switch. Nope.
Why? Switch has a lot of holes in their NES, SNES catalogs.
You can play
some good ones, but
yeah, I know it's actually very, very, very.
There's a lot of things that are missing.
Yeah,
if you want to play Chrono Trigger the legal quote unquote way, you can buy it on Steam. There's a Steam version, which is like the closest recommended version. It's on mobile, but it's not a good version. I've heard. And there's also a PlayStation version, which is like the mid-tier version. And there's a DS version, which is considered like the definitive edition, but it's really rare nowadays to get your hands on that version. So Chrono Trigger is surprisingly a rare game, the original SNES version also. Like it's hard to find.
In the wild, really?
Yeah. So
shit.
Yeah.
The good old
big following, I know that.
Had to break out the old retro pie there to play that one.
Sweet.
Nice.
What about you, Dave? Did you have a standout game?
I don't know if I had a standout. I did a lot of. What's that?
I hated all the old games.
Hate all.
Fuck no.
Dave's the retro guy.
I am. I got me invested in getting this arcade machine behind me.
I love that.
Pumped up again. I like.
I love that.
Yep.
And let me tell you what a pain in the ass emulating MAME games is in an arcade cabinet. Because there are so many goddamn different versions of. This one's for MAME 0.17. This one's for 0.20, 0.24, and like it's.
What does that
such
mean?
A pain.
Like, what is that?
It's how MAME is interpreting like the hardware inside of the actual arcade machine.
Okay.
And so something that may work on one version of MAME may not work on another one.
Oh boy.
Because arcade games, like if you're emulating Super Nintendo, you're just emulating like that one system. That's all you have to do. But MAME cabinets or arcade cabinets in general are just so willy-nilly where they're like every single one is such different. Yeah, everyone has such different hardware that finding a good ROM set, that's kind of my next mission to get that stuff done. But
yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. I hopped around a lot. I played some Turtles 2 arcade game on NES, and then with the kid, and the quality of some of the old games kind of shocks me. Where like, it's okay for like your guys kind of like flicker in and out, and like too many guys on the screen and things start chugging and stuff like that. So it's weird to go back and kind of like look at it, compare it. I actually booted up the arcade version of Turtles 2 on the arcade machine, and it's like frame rates are way better. Like it's like night and day playing like from the NES version to the arcade version.
Arcade was always like
that is not more or so true for Atari games. I checked out some old Atari games because the Atari flashback collections were also on the PlayStation Plus.
Oh, nice.
Subscribe. So I downloaded. There's the collection 1 and 2. I downloaded both of those, and they have the Atari like arcade versions, and they also have the Atari 2600
That's so
versions.
cool.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
when you play the arcade version and you're like, wow, this is cool. These run great. They look good. Like, and they hold up too because a lot of them use like the vector graphics, which still look really
and it's
cool
a black
nowadays.
background usually. It's just it reeks of that era. It's
black
like,
background and like, you know, the rotating like rainbow colors.
It's minimalist.
And, like one specifically that was really fun was Tempest. Like the arcade version of Tempest is really fucking fun and good.
It's a cool one.
But the 2600 version is fucking garbage. Like a lot of those, it's so hard to go back to those 2600 games. Like it's just bleeps and bloops on the screen. You know,
it's
you
wild,
don't even know what you're looking at.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We were talking about instruction books for like games that
instruction
are that
manuals were
old.
essential.
Like, and I see it on the Intellivision too, because Intellivision has card overlays that go over the controller. So otherwise, you're just looking at a numeric 1 through 9 pad. If you don't have the overlay, you don't have the instruction books. Like it's going to take you a while to figure out this game. So like the bleeps and bloops, like you don't get stories in games that are that old. Like Pitfall starts up, you're just fucking dude in the jungle, just go. So
one really cool thing, well, the Atari Flashback collections, they have scans of all the original manuals. So for each game, you can look at the manuals, you know, to see how to play or to, like Dave said, to get the story. But one thing that was really, really cool is I don't know if you guys have ever played or heard of the Sword Quest games on the 2600.
No.
But there's 3 of them, and they each have their own comic book. Like each game has its own comic, which is a really cool way for them to get like the story across. Well, it's like a full-fledged like 60-page comic for each of the games.
Essentially looks like adventure.
Yeah. The game itself is not that impressive looking, but like I was very blown away because like the collection has the comic as well, scans of the comic in it. So I was like flipping through those, reading them, and I'm like, that's such a cool way of a game back in the day to, again, like you were saying, like the game itself is not going to have a story in it, but you have this companion comic book that you can read through, and then you play the game and you're like basically using your imagination to like imagine what's happening on the screen.
That is interesting. That's an interesting thing. Like using your imagination. That is fucking gone now. Like now,
it's the same with the box art.
Now
we were talking about box art.
Even like the instruction books have like tons of cool random stuff that you would never, you know, find unless you did a scan of them. But yeah, box art in general, like I think
box art back in the day used to be so good, so cool,
super good.
Because you'd go to Blockbuster and you'd have a wall of games, and like the box art is like, you know, it's like, you know, you're going window shopping for what you're going to do for the next 2 to 3 days. Like you make a bad choice and you're stuck with it, and you're going to have to play that shitty game for the next.
What was funny was like the old NES box art was just like black, and it had like an angled thing, and it had like a character of the game coming out a little bit with the name underneath it.
Yeah.
It's traditional, you know, but that's what like a lot of those games, like they're very basic, you know, tennis, you know, hockey.
Yeah. I think the original like first
Sight Bike,
1 or 2
Mario.
years. First 2 years of Nintendo, they
were like,
kinda.
or let's just get like this guy that looks like Conan the Barbarian and like a dragon fighting behind him. Like
that was all Atari 2600 games, all the box art of those.
They look like fucking like D&D paintings.
Yes,
D&D
like paintings.
Yeah,
these Sword Quests I was just looking at.
Such a good comparison.
It's like if you were that kind of artist, man, you had work.
Well, even like Mega Man's famous for like not looking anything
the weird
like the
ass
game.
box art, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't look
weird ass Mega Man on there.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, that I love the original Mega Man artwork. It cracks me up because I'm like, what the fuck is that? That is not a cute little character. Why did they draw him? Like, why does he look like that? That looks lame. They didn't want to change that.
Nope.
They saw the gameplay and they're like, hey, you know how like Larry drew that and that's what the video game looks like? Should we Nah,
you're good.
who knows if this game will even take off, man.
20.
They totally could have taken
4
like
years later.
Yeah, like 2 days and let somebody like redraw that. So wait, hold on, Dave. So what was your standout game? Like what really kind of like, damn,
I don't really know if I had a the standout. I forced myself to finish Smash TV just because I didn't have to put quarters in a machine. I can't imagine that anyone ever beat that game in real life in an arcade. Because I put it down on easy. I jack all my lives up. I played on the Midway Arcade Collection on it's an old 360 collection, which is super sweet. But
You have
they
all
have
the coins in the world to finish that game now.
You can play Spy Hunter where you like you tune it a little bit so you get a lot of free lives. You can actually get kind of far in Spy Hunter and
one of the best.
Oh wow!
I love the soundtrack of that game. I was looking at some vinyl. Got a record player. And I was looking at some vinyl, and they're playing whatever the real song is that's based off of that. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, it's like some old 50s.
Yeah, dude. 40s, I was like, this is
song.
fucking sweet. I'm like, it makes me think like Spy Hunter about Spy Hunter.
Basically, yeah.
And
it never had another good game. Like
no, they tried busting out some 3D racing ones. And stuff
I actually liked there was a Spy Hunter game on GameCube, I think.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed that one.
Xbox and PS2 had they made like one or two of them, and it was okay.
I remember Spy Hunter.
That's the one I remember
because
I don't know if I ever played the old ones.
Oh, I do
ones
remember
were fun.
seeing this box art.
But yeah, Spy Hunter, for the GameCube, it was it's not bad. As a kid, I liked it. I don't know how good it is if I go back to it today, but
it doesn't look horrible. I'll just say that.
Okay.
See. Nice. But no, one that I did actually play for a little bit was Bionic Commando on the NES. I have a little NES Classic that I've flashed with, like 800 games. So you actually can play what you want to, unlike the Switch. But it's got save states on there, which makes playing these old games so much easier because you can just save the state. You need
save states going back to these old games.
Come back a couple days later and be at the exact same spot you were. And if you make a dumb fucking mistake, you die, you can just zip right back to where you were.
Well, Dave, what do you mean? You can zip?
Important.
How are you zipping back, Dave? How are you zipping back?
Why? I just hit the reset button and I reload the save.
So I'm not picking on you. I did that constantly on the Switch with the
rewind feature.
The rewind feature
yeah.
and NES and Super NES. And my wife and I, so something happened during my research for this episode where I was abusing the hell out of that thing, right?
Yeah,
I wanted
some
to
games.
beat fuck Ghosts and Goblins. Like I know, like Eric, you made a good point. A lot of these old games were made in an era where like the philosophy was like just make it really fucking hard. The farther they got, the harder it got, which was make no sense. And they'll just pump coins or whatever lives into it.
I mean,
and,
the majority of those games were ported from arcade, like early NES games. Those are all arcade ports. So and even games that were made for the NES, like game developers were still in that mentality.
Yeah. Because they had so fewer games back then that like you want to get the most money out of it, so just make it.
The replayability, quote unquote, back then, was like make it so difficult you can't even beat it.
You can't be, and I was like, this sucks. And like some games, man, I tried using the rewind ability on the Switch or feature on the Switch, and playing like Ghosts and Goblins and other hard games. And I was like, this game is so hard. It's rude. So anyways, I'm playing like some easier games like Mario games. I'm like, I didn't miss that jump. I'd rewind. My wife, she goes like that's cheating. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't have time to redo that. Like, come on.
Cheating.
Like I'm just going fast. I'm not taking it. I'm just zipping through, And so my wife wanted to do some levels. And, we were working on like Super Mario World or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was. And I learned something about my wife.
This is good.
This is weird. My wife will play some games, Overcooked, like some games like that, Rayman Origins.
Super Mario World is one of the greatest games
of
all time.
In her head, she has a gigantic cabinet of full, like, organized files. She knew every level. She knew where the key. She remembers everything about Super Mario 3 in World. I couldn't believe it. Like, how are you able to do this? So I was just like. It's
cool when you find out those things you don't know.
You remember things like,
oh,
I remember this. I haven't thought about it in so long, and you just
triggers in your mind. Yeah,
like something in a ghost house that's behind a wall that would normally take you like a while to find, or
Yeah, it's
Super
like riding a
Mario was
bike.
the best with that though, because they had the red levels and the yellow levels, and you know that it's got a second exit when it's got the red dot. But
Hmm.
that is no, that's super cool because I mean some of them when you just hear the music, I mean it's part of something that we're trying to weigh here today. The nostalgia versus the what is a good game versus what is just good feelings as a child and bringing back memories of sitting in your living room playing video games. So
Hmm.
some of them you can see, some of them you can't. Did you guys have any ones that you went back like you liked as a kid and you went back and played that were like hot garbage?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
I wouldn't say it's hot garbage, but I have a huge amount of nostalgia for the Destruction Derby games on PlayStation
Hey
1.
now, hey
Okay.
now.
Specifically
I was playing
Destruction Derby 2
that.
on
Oh, okay.
PlayStation.
Okay.
I loved that game as a kid. That was the one that I played all the time as a kid.
The first one's ugly and like, but it's still fun to play. But I never.
I
played
went
the second
back
one.
to that game and it's not, I wouldn't say it's hot garbage, but it's so hard.
Oh, it's
So
hard.
difficult. Like the racing controls were so touchy. Like I was just trying to complete one race. I couldn't. I would get crashed out every time and I couldn't do it. And then I did like a destruction, like a derby, and it lasted 30 seconds and I would lose every single time. I'm like, how did anybody beat this game at like back in the day? It was so difficult. But like again, as a kid, my memories of that game were like, I think it also comes from like when I was a kid, I was playing it with my brother. So that multiplayer aspect was the more fun
yeah.
element of it.
You were the
you know,
lead
playing
blocker for
together.
him.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, we were playing together, but playing it single player against the computers, they just wreck you instantly. And I'm like, this is not very fun.
Oh, that's
That
interesting.
was the one that I experienced that I was like,
mine
oh,
was,
I'm excited to go back and play this, but then I played it and I'm like, damn.
I know. I was
don't know.
worried because Twisted Metal. I remember loving when I was a kid, and I went back. And I'm like, this is. I can't. I'm gonna throw up. Like I don't want to play this anymore. The controls are garbage. Like the idea. I think it was just the idea was really good. I think it was just like a really cool idea. The characters were all cool, but when you actually play it, it's just like, get me out of here. Like, how long do I have to play? Like, how am I gonna torture myself with this? And that made me afraid because like I really liked Metal Gear Solid, and I was like, this is the same console, years apart, but same console, and it's just like, this looks stunning. I think considering when and how it came out and all that stuff. PlayStation 1 graphics, but
Nice. I made my kid cry playing Mario. Original
How's that?
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, no.
I played it and I beat it.
The pack in
Cheated
NES.
my way, but
You did? Oh, it's dirty.
Yeah.
I did not cheat, but we played.
Did you use the
few.
warps, Brandon?
Yes,
I used the warps too,
absolutely.
and I rewound when I missed something. Yeah,
Okay.
Well, you got to go
was gonna
1,
say,
1,
did
2
you-
to 4, 4 to 8. And then,
Yeah, I was wondering if you played through like the entire thing. every
no, I
world.
really
No.
should though, because it is a damn good game for when it
For
came
what
out.
it is, like-
85 or whatever.
and that's kind of what I was thinking when I was playing it. Like a lot of those old games don't feel good.
No, they
but
don't.
Some of them that do feel like sharp and crisp and have like reactive controls and like don't have the jitter on the screen and stuff isn't flashing in and out and stuff like that. Like I played some RC Pro-Am for a while. Like that game still fucking rips. Like that's a good one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's
Can I tell you-
it's
I've
an
played
old,
that one before,
old
yeah,
racing
I've
game,
played it
but
a while.
yeah, it's a classic.
One of those games for me that is NES game, really, really tight controls, awesome music, great multiplayer and single player, Balloon Fight.
Yeah, that is a good
really, really fun game to go back to.
It's kinda like
nowadays. I
Joust,
was playing a
isn't it?
lot of that. Yeah, I mean, have you played it, Brandon?
No.
It's fun, really fun. It's on Nintendo Switch Online, NES, and play it with your kids because like it's great multiplayer. But basically, you're just guys with two balloons on your head, and you're just trying to pop the other person's balloons by, hopping on top of them essentially. But the controls feel really, really good, really tight, and the music is iconic. So
Yeah.
fun. So
the
good.
music was good, and I feel like a lot of I loved all the games I played. Like, yeah, music's still good, still awesome. It's just the controls were always like this is torturous. Like I respect you existing, I appreciate what you did for the industry, but like you are not fun anymore. And I like there's other games from this
Put it to
era who are
bed.
just a little bit better than you.
Yeah.
And like I don't know.
Balloon Fight was the one where I was like shocked, like, wow, this feels actually really good. And like it's
That's
smooth,
cool. Okay, I'll
it
check
looks
that
good, it's fun. It's like it's a simple concept, which I think is to its benefit. And it's fun.
Wait, who made it?
Fun single player. I don't know if it's a Nintendo first party.
Or I remember because it's got that old school original NES like box art.
Yeah, I can picture it. Red and blue guy, right? Or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Balloon Fight was developed by Nintendo Research and Development.
There you go.
HAL Laboratory.
So that's why, because they were making it.
Yeah, it's
themselves.
first party, but it's good. Play it on Nintendo Switch Online.
I know
by yourself or with your kids. It's fun.
Did we all play NES, Super NES?
Yeah, I played it.
I played mostly NES,
a little bit of
okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
mostly NES and N64 for me.
The jump of quality though of NES to Super NES is like it just you just remember it because it was there at the time. You're like, Super Nintendo and all stuff, but like I was just like, man, because I did a whole night just crushing through NES games, right? And then the next night I did Super NES games. I was just like, this is great. And then SNES, I know I'm saying Super NES. And then I went to PlayStation. I was trying to go through the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did the same
evolution.
thing.
Yeah, I think I got the idea from you, and it's just like you can really feel it.
It felt like generations back then. Now we don't feel like
the
there's
generational gap
anymore.
Yeah, the jump was very apparent.
Going from even from Atari to NES was a huge leap because
God,
just
dude.
The controller that actually felt like the birth of the actual video game controller as opposed to the Atari joysticks where they had the weird spinny knob joysticks that they had for some games.
Yeah, I remember those.
But and the design of the console too, because on the it's so weird. In the original manuals on the Atari Flashback Collection, they tell you how to set up your Atari, and how to hook it up to your TV, and it sounds like such a convoluted process. You got to get a screwdriver out, screwing shit into the back of your TV.
No, you got to pop it in the antenna.
Yeah, and making sure you're
TVs
plugging
don't have
into the right
anymore, but
have it set to the right modes and set right channel. I'm like,
you gotta be on channel 3,
Christ.
or else there's VHF and UHF. For all you can get that thick click of the buttons when you go from one to the next. The chunky,
dude.
Kids of the 80s,
and the difficulty slider and the game selector were on the actual console, which is just such a weird concept.
Insane.
Yep.
I do wish I may play this for next month's catch up episode, but I did not get the Intellivision out of the basement. It is tough, but those controllers are old, and I feel like I gotta take it out and clean them out and brush them up, but to actually get it to work properly. But a lot of those old ones, I was sharing some videos in the Discord, some of those old ones have a lot of innovative ideas. I'd say that for the time they did things that weren't being done, which was
I mean, everything I was playing. It had some form of reputation. I was just trying to go through some of the games I didn't really bother playing with, and I even on my Xbox I have I think it's on Game Pass actually. It's Grim Fandango, all those LucasArts. I think they're LucasArts games, and I played a couple of them, but I never played that one. I always wanted to, and this is really cool where you get to see kind of you don't really get to see this with the old games, at least in engine, but as I'm playing Grim Fandango, which is really fun, it looks great. You could switch between original and then the updated version.
Oh, I love when
the
they do
updated
that,
version. All they did is really just kind of sharpen it up a little bit, I believe, but it just added light and shadows. It's really cool. If you walk in front of a window, it'll actually hit. And it'll cast the shadow just right, and you can turn that on and off. Or that doesn't exist at all. I love that. I mean, we see that with Halo, right? Like, here's Halo 1, and here's the remaster. You're going to click of a button, see that. I love now we get it. But back then, yeah, like some things are just, this is how it looks. That's it. And then you slowly but surely you see these, like, you can have remaster and the original base game there. I was trying the Mario All-Stars. That was really interesting. I'm seeing, like, like they collected all the NES games and they put them together on the Super Nintendo and they redesigned. I forgot that I thought they were just collecting them.
They updated the graphics.
They updated the graphics. What an effort! I was going. So
that was the main one that I played as a kid. That version, the SNES All Stars version.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, because the first time I ever played Super Mario 3, it was Japanese. It was like an import or whatever. Like somebody got it, and it was like, I can't read this shit, but like I'm playing Super Mario 3. It was like a bootleg thing.
I know the first version I played of Super Mario 3 was the All Stars version.
Okay,
Really?
dude, it's fun.
That's
it's
the one I played
It was
as a
a bit
kid.
intense, but like it was really cool because you get the parallax effect with the background and
They did,
Yeah.
A lot of nice touches.
yeah. I might. So here's what's cool about this trip back in time is I want to spend more time with Metal Gear Solid and Mario All Star. Like I want to actually like go and finish them at least, or go as far as I can until I tap out.
See how many stars your wife can get in Super Mario World.
All of them.
We'll see where that one ends up.
Oh yeah, she's
So get
Mario
through-
champ.
Get through Star World and we'll talk.
Was it? How many are there in that one? 120? Is that 120?
There's not stars. It's just levels. It's
thought-
Super Mario World 64. They
Oh,
introduced the
I'm thinking of
stars.
64. Sorry.
Yeah. I think there's 120.
I thought you said
something in
64.
64.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's my takeaway too. I mean, I already said it. I want to finish Ocarina this year.
Oh, you make me feel like I should have a goal.
That's like a thing for me. And Chrono Trigger. I'm definitely gonna go back and play.
Oh, that
more
Chrono
of that.
Trigger.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear more about that because maybe that could become an episode. I know that's like a big deal for a lot of people and for many reasons. Story, gameplay, music, all stuff.
Yep.
All right, I'll
sucked me
beat
in.
Turtles this year. How's that? Original Teenage Mutant Ninja
NES?
Turtles. I will be using save states, but I will beat that fucker at some point.
Oh,
Oh,
It's either that or
cheat.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I've never beat Mike Tyson in my life. I've had that game as a kid.
I
growing
played
up.
some of that shit. Well, Punch
That
Out.
game is. I mean,
So fun.
it holds up. Like it's
It definitely holds up. Of course, it's an NES game.
even the
Why is it not still being? Are they still making games for that?
What's that?
I don't know the
Punch Out?
last Punch Out game.
No, the last Punch Out was Wii. Punch Out Wii.
Like, why
Version.
doesn't that come out more? Like, I feel like it's.
They could bring it back. They could bring it back.
I mean, I know they could, and people will fucking go bananas and buy it and shit like that. I was playing Kid Icarus, another game from Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they make that?
Yeah, they made a 3D. They made Kid Icarus the 3DS version, which I played. It was
3DS. What kind
Yep.
of? That's not the attention he deserves. I think Pitt deserves more attention.
What do you mean it's not the attention? 3DS was one of like a huge selling console.
I don't know. Sound like a
Handheld.
kid.
I have
Sound like
never owned a handheld console in my life.
Well, you're missing out.
I have a
on
Switch now.
some
I guess
great
that's
games.
technically handheld, but
One of the best Zelda games ever created is on
Which
the
one?
3DS. A Link Between Worlds. It's the sequel to Link to the Past. Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh,
So
dude,
good.
Let me write that down. Writing it to the list.
So good. That's one of my favorite Zelda games.
Is that
Well,
that's not on the Switch at all, right? Link
Nope.
Between Worlds.
Just 3DS, unfortunately. Which I have one if you want to borrow
I
it.
do
are
know.
they going to add the Switch? Is Switch going to add that to their online? It seems like they're adding, like they just added like
3DS, I don't know how they would do DS
Is
stuff.
that other screen touch?
Yeah.
It was.
It's
Okay.
yeah, dual screen touch with the stylus.
You turn you turn the Switch sideways.
You could do it,
And
but
then
it would be like handheld mode only, so you couldn't play it on your TV. So I don't know. I don't know how they would
That would be
end up
weird.
doing that. Yeah.
Do you guys? I mean, we all go back and play those nostalgia games. Are there any specific ones that you guys wanted to shout out for, like hidden gems that aren't the Mario's and aren't the Punch Outs of the world or anything like that?
I don't know if it's hidden, but one of my favorite PlayStation games growing up was Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
Fuck yeah, that was a
wow,
good one. I love that
forgot
game.
About that.
I went back and played that
played-
one too.
Really?
I used to play all
How'd that-
those.
how'd that
They
do?
made like 3 or 4 of those.
I remember that being
That game's really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a little clunky nowadays.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if I don't think I was playing it again on my RetroPie, and I don't think I enabled the like dual analog controls, so I was, kind of handicapping myself with that. It's one of those ones where you turn your character and the camera, turns with it, so it's on one axis.
You talking about the tank controls, dude?
Right, because
they are all over in PlayStation. Because
I want to say that was after the DualShock came out, because that was 1998, so that had to be after the DualShock came out. So I think it does have dual analog controls, but I just didn't turn them on. But either way, that game is still fun.
I do remember that as one of the few PlayStation, because I never had a PlayStation 1 growing up. I was a 64 kid, but yeah, it was Tenchu 1000. That's a good pull, Eric.
Tenchu's really good.
Nice.
I really wish they would bring that series back. I mean, you could say like, I don't know, Sekiro is sort of like, Assassin's Creed. Like they're sort of in that vein, but there's not really like a 3D stealth action ninja series these days. They made a couple modern ones like in the 360 era, but yeah, right, exactly. Where stealth is the focus. But Tenchu, that was one of my definitely one of my favorite games as a kid. And the cool thing about that game is you can create your own levels.
Really?
Like, that was what we spent the most of our time doing. Like my brothers and I, you could set up your own levels. So we would like create levels for each other and then see if we could beat them. Like it's like a sandbox type mode. It's actually pretty cool.
Give them extra bags
way ahead
of poison. Of its time. Extra bags of poison rice. That was always the best. You could just find rice on the ground and the guards would just pick it up and eat it and then just collapse. Like, yep. It's AI back in the day. What about you, Brandon? You got any hidden gems?
Yeah, nobody's probably gonna check this one out, but it was on my PlayStation Mini, and I was impressed with it. Honestly, because I wanted to play a racing game. I was actually a big racing game fan in the late '90s, early 2000s, and I remember the Ridge Racer games being a lot of fun, and they kind of disappeared. So they had Ridge Racer Type 4, I believe it was called. Yes, Ridge Racer Type 4 on this PlayStation Mini. It's fun. It's well done. It actually holds up. I was really impressed with the controls. Changing cars felt, so different between each other, and like I could see the other cars on the road compared to, Twisted Metal. I couldn't see shit in front of me. It was just, this looks really good. It was also made like later on. I think it was made in like '99 or something like that. The team that made that just crushed it. For the time, I bet it really blew people away. I don't know. I just never played it, and I was just like, why is this on? Like, why this game? And yeah, it's good. And the artwork and the menu screen, it's just like beautiful. It's just like these big colors and like typography and these images, and it's like, this looks really cool. Like if they made this today in some way, like this is really hip. I don't want to sound old here, but like this just like, yeah, it looks hip, but it did. I was just Ridge Racer. So I don't know if Type 4 I enjoyed. I thought it was really cool. I probably could actually, I left my PlayStation thing like plugged. It's like in my big ass TV in my living room, just laying there on the thing. But I'm gonna keep it out, and I'm gonna go back and give a couple of these games more time.
Ridge Racer still looks pretty good. Like it's got that kind of, was it Outrun or Cruising USA kind of look, where like palm trees all Daytona down like USA. The side of the side of the street.
Yeah, a lot of that. This was more of, it's more of a 3D world and stuff like that. It's just like,
but it looks good
because I love racing games. I was like, this looks good for PlayStation 1. Like that's the thing. It's like when you play all these games, you really see some that are like, nah, they got a reputation, but they're not so good anymore. And other ones like, yeah, you still hold up. Like, good for
some
you.
Standout ones. Yep, for sure.
Like Tekken 3. You said Tekken 2, but was that on PlayStation? Yeah, I had it.
Tekken 2 was PlayStation, yes. Yep.
Yeah, I have to play that. I have to try that one. 3 was a big one I had in Tag, but they're fun. I was getting into it too. I was like, Tekken's so
Tekken's fun,
dude.
Man. Yeah.
It's so fun. I started getting some of the moves. I was like, I can't remember this.
Dude, Tekken 2, I could pick that up, and I do still remember some of them, like the combos and the moves that I used to.
They still make Tekken games. Do you think they're still fun? Like I've tried them against a computer, but we should maybe try doing like.
I want to play it. What is it? Tekken. What's the newest one that's
Tekken
coming
Tag
out?
Tournament or
No, the Tekken. There's a new one that just got announced like last year.
It's got to
that
be
looks
8.
incredible. Yeah, then I think it is. But I would go back to Tekken series. That's always been one of my favorite fighting
That's
game
fun.
series.
Yeah.
yeah. See, I've rarely dabbled in the Tekkens.
Oh,
So-
you just got to find your guy and just or gal
That's
and
the one
just
with-
go for it.
King,
Paul
with
used
the
to be my
tiger
guy.
head, and they got like the old man. I forgot. I played a couple of them here and there, but
I like Paul. I like
Paul,
Martial
you
Law.
asshole.
Yoshimitsu.
Martial Law was cool. Yeah, who's like basically Bruce Lee ripoff.
Yep.
I really like the
Yoshimitsu is
cop
good.
guy.
Lee or Lei or whatever his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He's good too.
nice. I didn't have any real gems. I don't know. There's a couple on Nintendo, and I think it's mostly nostalgia of me looking back. But like Jackal, made by Konami. It's like jeeps driving around, and you're just blowing up bases and rescuing prisoners of war and stuff like that. Like those are good ones to go back to because those ones you can kind of cruise through and be done with. I did mention Bionic Commando before. That one, it has a lot in it where like you're getting story throughout it as you're traveling. It's tough as shit. Like,
Is that Capcom?
yeah, it's
Right?
Capcom, yeah. And it kind of never really did have a great sequel to it. There was that infamously horrible one that came out on 360, but everybody kind of shit on for a while. But the original, where it came from, that game is pretty freaking solid. But there's a lot of those.
They
old
remastered
ones.
that Xbox Arcade in those early days when they were dropping arcade games. That was one of the,
yes,
that
they
because
did.
the 3D version sucked, and then they remastered and totally redid the artwork and stuff like that.
I forgot about that. Good
that
pull.
was fun. Yeah. I don't know if you can get it. This is a thing that's like really frustrating with these retro games. Is like how some of them are hidden.
Yeah,
Some of them are tough to find.
where there's a will, there's a way. I don't want to say go out and steal ROMs of any games or build your own arcade cabinet or anything like that. But if you got an NES Classic, you can run stuff on there. If you've got I've got an old Xbox that's been modded to play up through 64 like games. So
There's a fine line
ways. A lot of
between-
different ways to
It's
go.
history, though. It's history.
I was gonna
Like,
say video game preservation. Like, if there's no way to play that in the modern game, the only option is to download a ROM.
Mhm.
Like if you want people to experience this game, then it's out there. It's out there on the internet. And there's some games that are just lost to time, and you can never play them again, which is
Yeah. And I
it's
mean,
tough. But
some of them are absolutely worth going back and playing, like putting in that a little extra effort. Like, yeah, maybe you get an emulator on your computer. I'm not saying you should, but Xbox controllers sync up really well with PCs. All you got to do is kind of hold down the Bluetooth button. You can do that on your phone and hold on to the Bluetooth button and kind of play right on your phone. Like, there's
I've done
all sorts
that,
of-
which is wild.
It is weird how
It's
that
like, I
works.
can't believe this
It
is how it
feels
works.
weird.
Just give me a
Yeah.
screen and I can play a game.
But yeah, you can cast your PC to your TV at this point in time and just play with a controller. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's kind of no excuse to going back. It just takes a little bit of legwork to get it done. But you gotta not all retro games are created equal. That's the real defining point. Like, you may have nostalgia for some, and you may go back and like, hey, I remember I rented this game from Blockbuster before and it was a complete pile of dog shit, but I'll play the first level of it just to remind myself of what a pile of dog shit it was, which is, it's fun in its own thing.
yeah, there's something nice about that nostalgia. But there's some that you'll play and they'll surprise you with how good they are still. Like I was saying,
had one.
there was Balloon Fight really surprised me how well it controls and holds up. Tempest, since it's so old, but the arcade version, it holds up with the vector graphics. Like we said, going back to the art style, if you have an art style that doesn't show its age, like vector graphics or like simple polygons like Nintendo did back in the day, it holds up well and it still feels good today to go back and play. But yeah. Oh, a couple other ones I checked out on N64 online. I never played Wave Race 64.
Oh
How
my
is that?
goodness. It's fucking
Actually really
awesome.
fun.
Dude.
Yeah, a lot of
really,
people like
really
that.
The
fun.
game is good.
Like I was shocked, and it you don't really see jet ski racing games nowadays, and so I went back and played that. I'm like, This actually feels pretty good.
What'd you play that on?
That's on the Nintendo Switch Online
Is it?
N64
Oh, I'm
collection.
gonna have to get in there.
Yep.
Because I do remember that one in high school was a big thing
Wave
for a
Race
little
64.
while.
It's fun. I played through like an entire championship run, and I'm like, this actually it feels really good.
I was just gonna say, it feels good the way you can like dig into waves and like kind of like if you hit them the right way, you can get your speed. The physics of it felt
And there's some strategy to it. You gotta wave between, or you gotta go between the buoys to keep your speed boost up. If you miss a buoy, you kind of drop your speed down. So there's like some strategy there, and yeah, I was surprised by how good that game feels. And it looks decent. It looks like an N64 game, but the water and stuff for the time actually looks pretty good. Yeah. And Mario Golf also I checked out on that N64 collection. Also super fun.
N64, huh? Really?
Yep. It's actually a pretty good golf game for the time, but I think it's still fun. It still holds up today.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of those old ones are nice to get back, and kind of refreshing to kind of not see a battle pass in a game where game is just a game. Like if your game is fun and that's everything that came on the cartridge,
get right
is what
into it
came
too.
On the cartridge, yeah.
Oh my god!
They throw you into
New
it.
games spend so long with exposition that it's like if it's not minutes, it's like tens of minutes. I swear.
Yeah,
I swear until I'm finally fighting something.
Like all the tutorials nowadays are
tutorials, yeah.
So front loaded. Again, like I was talking about Hogwarts Legacy on our catch-up episode, where I was like, the first fucking 10 hours are basically a tutorial, and it's crazy comparing it to
Breath of the Wild did
back
that
in
too.
the day.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the retro games, they hand you the controller and they're like, figure it out. Read the manual maybe if you want to, or just figure it out yourself. But they'll throw you right into the game
if you want to.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to have to get graph paper and write maps down and shit like that. Like,
it was
the
cool
fun part
that I really appreciated about Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
They don't front load like a tutorial or anything, but if you explore around the town enough, you come up to this like manor where it's like a training ground for soldiers. And if you go in there, it's completely optional. Like if you don't go into this house, you won't learn any of this stuff. But if you talk to each of the people in there, they teach you a different thing, like a different battle technique, or like, stuff about the world or controls in the game. So I thought that was a really cool way that they handled like the tutorial. Cause like you could completely miss that and just figure it all out on your own. But if you go to this, this place in town and talk to everyone, they'll teach you stuff, and you actually get like gold and items for going in there. So I don't know. I just thought that was cool.
Chrono Trigger has a 23-hour long campaign.
23.
According to how long?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not too bad.
That's long for a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
RPGs
not for an RPG.
Yeah,
So
RPGs
in
back
general,
the day
23 hours is.
Who knows? Maybe we'll make an episode out of that. I know that's like very near and dear to a lot of people.
I forgot to mention this when I was playing Chrono Trigger. I was like, I don't know, probably 40 minutes in. I was exploring a lot, talking to a lot of people, but I just got into a random battle encounter and died like, almost an hour into the game. Had to reset the game from the start.
Oh my
beginning.
god.
But
no.
Yes. Because there was no save point up to that point in the game. And this is another thing about like retro games. If you don't save, there's no autosave. There was no autosave back in the day. So if
what were you playing that on again? You
I had to emulate it.
Emulate it, right? Okay.
But
you can't through the emulator. You couldn't.
You can, but I just didn't do a save state.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't thinking about it, so I died, and I'm like, got to restart from the beginning. But it wasn't
that the Switch is just like you can save the instance right there, just
right, and rewind. It wasn't that big of a deal because, like I said, in the beginning, I spent a lot of time talking to everybody. But since I had already done that, I got to the point where I died back in like 10 minutes, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay.
But I was like, holy shit, I died, and they just boot you right back to the menu screen. It's like, start
it's
over.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're
game
kicked
over. or when you beat the game, and I couldn't believe the endings. I forgot how bad they are to Mario, and then I beat Icarus, and I saw the ending to that.
It's just one screen. Thank you for playing our game.
Yeah, your reward is starting over. There's
Yeah.
more enemies
You're
to fight.
welcome.
Like, that's how it ends.
Congratulations.
Yeah. 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 Oh, no. What a
It's
weird
the
time,
satisfaction of winning.
but it was nice. It was nice going back though, and just losing yourself and kind of remembering this era, and
Yeah.
it makes you appreciate where we are now.
See, I was just
And
reading a
you
quote
also
right
just
here.
respect set.
A quote by somebody called Feldmeyer. I don't know exactly who they are, but by looking at the past, one can sometimes look to the future, even when getting bogged down by the pain of the present. Sometimes these
Wow.
like old, I know it's deep shit, right?
That is deep.
No, you go back and you just get that nostalgia kick, and I don't know, you kind of lose yourself in these little games. You're not worried about people online. You're not worried about having to collect this much XP or whatever. You're just playing just a simple stupid game. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, and you could bounce around so much. Like, you can play this NES game for 10 minutes and get enough out of it where you feel like you can move on. But like games nowadays, they want so much of your time and dedication. Like, each game is fighting for your attention. And if you're not playing it, then that game's not making money, especially with these always online games. Like, every game nowadays is fighting for your time. And it's like, they need to get your money.
Time back when we played.
It's true.
games.
they would fight for our quarters back then, which I mean, just the fun of the games. Like, you go back and you play Rampage, and you have unlimited money, and you can just fuck around and punch each other and just smash buildings. And it's just like, it's a super simple game mechanic, but
Satisfying. You could play it for 15 minutes and be satisfied after you're done.
Yeah, save the state, come back in a couple months, maybe reload the state, and keep going. So I don't know.
If you play 15 minutes of a game nowadays, you won't get anything done,
Essentially, yeah, it's enough to like boot it up, like check out your quests, check out your gear, and then, oh shit, like it's like time to. I haven't done anything yet. It's been 20 minutes.
I feel like I need, like, when I'm sitting down to play a game, depending on what game it is, like, I don't know, talk about like Hogwarts Legacy, for example, since that's one of the games I'm playing right now. I feel like I need to know that I have like at least an hour to sit down, dedicate my time to playing this, to actually get something done in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, I know I have this chunk of time to sit down and play this game. But like with these games, like I said, you can pick it up, play it for 10 minutes, put it away, be satisfied. Be like, okay, I played a game. That was fun. It's just weird. Weird to think about.
Like, that's
you guys are making me think, but like, I'll just say this, and then I'm done. But like, and we'll never get this again. I don't know if future generations of gamers will get this, but there is something to be said about this brief moment in my gaming life where you would play at home. You would play that game at home, like Mortal Kombat or like Street Fighter or something like that, and you would practice against a computer. You would come down with your moves, and then you knew you're going to go to an arcade, and you would see that game, and you would see complete strangers playing it, and you would get in line, and you couldn't wait to put your coin in and be your character and fight that person that's like been on it. And there's always one guy that was just so good that he was just hard to get kicked off and stuff like that, right, in the arcade. And there's just something to be said about that. Like, I know you can practice against a computer now and then go online and go against, but just being next to that that complete stranger, and just the pressure of it's like performing live. You're in front of people that have the same interests as you. They think they're as good as you or better, and you're getting up there and then you win. And it's just like, but you had to practice at home. It's like, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, as an adult, I'm not doing this, but like, you just don't have arcades like the same. It's not the same.
It's sad.
No, it's lost the time.
It's gone because
It's
everything.
just feeling and remembering that.
Everything at arcades is either, most things at arcades. There's like ticket games, and then there's like
games.
and then there's like some regular games, but most regular games, they have some sort of gimmick to them, whether you're shooting
but
somewhere
arcade,
or you're in like
you
a
go to the
dome or
arcade,
some
you don't
shit.
get in line. Oh, you're gonna play that game? I'm gonna go over here.
Right.
Like back then, it was just like, yeah, motherfucker, we all want to play Mortal Kombat 2. How
I
good are
wouldn't
you,
mind.
man? Are you good at this game? Yeah, if you're good, then you gotta, get in line and show
Just
us.
stand next to someone awkwardly until they leave.
Yeah,
like,
but
I'm
nowadays you
next,
can't
I'm
do
next.
that.
I do that. There's always a
Yeah.
line. There's always a line for Mario Kart at Dave and Buster's. Like that. That thing is a.
You
killer
only
right
need
there.
like 6 games, honestly, in an arcade, right? It's like the Turtles game, the X-Men game. It's like Mortal Kombat games,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I want that
Time Crisis.
T2 game with the gun. Like
Yeah, a couple gun games. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's what we want.
for a real.
Yeah, the
arcade.
closest thing I mean, there aren't many retro arcades like that. I mean, they have like barcades nowadays where they bring in the the old retro games, but
Those are fun.
still not the
It
same.
is-
It's not the same vibe though.
It is fun to get that background noise, and then you get a couple drinks in you, and you're walking around playing fucking arcade games. It is a goddamn
Yes.
blast to go to a barcade. I will
Yeah,
say
it is.
that.
But that's probably the closest thing you got these days to sort of recapturing that feeling. If you're social enough to be like, go up to a stranger, hey, you want to fight me in Mortal Kombat?
I know.
Hey, bro, you wanna
I
fight?
know. Or whatever that game is. Like, it's probably now it's like Sonic versus Mario, like Olympic racing, right? Like, but you gotta like run. Like, that's the thing about arcade is just like they want us to fucking get physical. Like, man, gamers not all gamers want to be physical. We just want to like
Yeah.
Right?
The
get next to
Kinect
that,
showed
grab the
us that.
controller, hit the fucking game, like hit those buttons there, and I'm just like, boo, 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 boo. Yeah, motherfucker, sit down. Who's
Well,
next?
Yep.
Well, let me
Show
take
off my
this
gaming
time
skills.
real quick to kind of to rep a game that came out recently. The little game called Arcade Paradise that you guys
Oh,
should
Lord
you guys
have
should
mercy.
both play.
Yep.
Since we're talking about it, I mean, a lot of these games, a lot of these simple, quick mechanic games that you can play for 5 minutes and be satisfied. This game is chock full of them. So, I mean, if you guys get a little squirrel in your pants, maybe get an extra $20 in your pocket. Definitely check out Arcade Paradise. It's on Steam. It's on Xbox. It's on PlayStation. I don't know. It gave me those vibes when we talk about like the background noise of the arcade and these simple game. Like you got your genres, you've got your shooters, you got your racers, you got your platformers, your physical games, all that kind of crap. Like it gets you in the feels. But it's nice to go back. I mean, you got to know your roots. You got to know the shit that you're playing. There was a reason that it is the way it is. There's a reason why there are quests in Hogwarts Legacy that are the way they are. There's a reason there's fetch quests. There's a reason there's fast travel. All that shit is decades
all the
of
stuff
experience.
paved the way.
Find a way for you to play adventure on Atari. Like, I think that game is like one of the most important games ever created. Like that, and then play the original Zelda game, because I also think that is equally that and Mario. Like, there are certain games that have a reputation and are known as being like the big ones. Like you if you like games, like you have to go back and play them. You don't have to beat them, but my God,
I mean,
play them.
some of those are literally
Look
where
at the
the
year it came
genres
out.
have been created. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have the games we have nowadays if those games you just mentioned didn't pave the way.
Who said they have never played Metal Gear Solid? Was it you, David?
I
also
I
have
don't think I've
Eric,
ever really played any Metal Gears.
Can you guys please get on your damn?
Maybe for the NES.
It's
Emulators?
it's a whole yeah.
just
I know
just
it.
play for like a half an hour. You just have to see how this game starts. It's just like,
I mean, I've
it's like a
seen them, but I've
movie.
never played them myself.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's incredible. Okay,
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've said a lot here today. Why don't we?
we've spoken about the past.
So many
far
games
too
to
long.
play. I know it's nice to go back and revisit it, but just like that, time has to end. So let's take a little break here and let's come back. And I always love these games, but we're gonna play a little. What song is that? Right after this.
What song is that? What song is that?
are back to wrap up this episode with a little bit of chiptune trivia. A game name we created during the break, which was fantastic. So I'm going to play some retro video game music, and you guys are going to take turns going back and forth and telling me what game it was from.
Is there steals?
What's it? Yeah, let's play with steals.
Ooh.
Sure. Plus, we'll play to 5 today because the fans are asking for it. So
Do it.
we'll keep going for a little bit. I have a number here written down between 1 and 100. Eric, what is it?
53.
52.
It was 55.
Oh,
Wow. That was good.
Wow.
I tried to put it right in the middle there to mess you guys up. So,
You bastard.
all right, Eric, we're gonna give you the first song here.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Let me cue this up. This is a jam.
This is Mario. I think, but what? It sounds so familiar. I know it's Mario, but it sounds so funky.
It is. It's got a jam to it,
Man, this is tough.
Like a synth sax going on.
Yeah, it's Mario, but what Mario is it?
It is a tricky one. Nah, I won't say it's tricky. It's
I don't know. Super Mario All-Stars, since we were just talking about that. It was the top of mine.
that is Super Mario Kart.
Kart! Oh,
The original.
Okay.
It is the Kart. Oh, I forgot. Brandon, sorry you didn't get to
That's
steal
all right.
that.
Don't worry about it. I was going to say Pilot Wings,
Oh, well.
which is a great game.
Oh, that make... How did I... Yeah. The music is still the same in Mario Kart 8. It's just a modernized version.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's the same
Oh,
music.
shit.
That's why it sounded so familiar.
And for these, you don't even need to tell me like what level things are from. Just tell me the game, and we'll be good here. So, Brandon, you are up next. Let's give this one a whirl.
Do you have a guess? Get it correct.
It's this Street Fighter 2.
That, my friend, is correct.
Oh, nice.
I think it's
Nailed
is
it.
it the Ken level?
It was Guile.
Guile. That's what I meant. I was picturing blonde hair. Sorry. Yes, Guile. Yep, I can picture him with the airplane. It looks like a set of a Top Gun. Yep.
Nailed it.
Nice work, Brando.
Is it technically Super
1 point.
Street Fighter 2? Or is it just called Street Fighter 2?
Here it just says Street Fighter
Yeah.
2, so we'll
There's
just,
like 15
we'll-
versions of that game. Turbo and all that.
Yeah, that gets me very confused, so we'll see.
There's like
We'll
special
see what
editions and
happens
stuff.
Nice. All right, let's swing it back to Eric. Let's see if you can name this chiptune.
Oh, that's Super Mario Bros. 2.
That is
It's the opening
Correct.
song, baby. As soon as you open up that door, you
Mario
start
Brothers
falling.
2.
Yep.
I can hear the boom.
Oh, yeah.
I love the music in Super Mario 2.
Yeah. Super
It-
Mario 2 is great.
In the general,
All
as
around,
weird
yeah.
of a game as it is still a solid Mario game.
Doki Doki Panic.
All right, well, let's get into this next one. Make sure I got this pulled up for you. Who are we on here?
Brandon.
It's my turn.
1-1.
We're at 1-1. All right, thank you, Brandon. Tell me what game this music is from.
Oh. I know the song.
It's got some funk to it.
I am ready to steal.
You feel a little bit of soul. You feel.
Oh man, I'm afraid to answer this. At first I was thinking like it's Castlevania, but I want to say it's Mega Man.
That, my friend, is incorrect.
No! All right, Eric, what is it? I know the song.
That would be Mike Tyson's Punch.
No, you're right.
That is correct.
I was just playing that game. Ah, I knew it.
That's why I was a little unsure about if that was a little too easy or not, but no, apparently not.
That bass line is like,
Such a good song.
so good.
All right. Back to, I know it's got some jam to it, you know. They were working with so little back then too.
So good though. Like fucking love that era of music.
All right, Eric, we just
I'm ready.
pulled up and begin.
Ooh. It's not immediately familiar. Give it a little bit.
I don't
Unless
know
this
how much
is the
further
whole
it's gonna
thing.
Go. I expected it to sound different in my head when I clicked on it, but that's what I got for you.
Sounds like that's it. Ooh.
I want to give you a different level, but it wouldn't be fair to
No.
wouldn't be fair to the rest of the crew.
I want to say, like, I don't know. Fucking Gradius or something. I don't know.
No, that is incorrect. Brandon, would you like to steal?
I feel like I'm soaring through the sky when I hear that song.
That's why I thought it was like a space shooter or something.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take a random guess. Yeah, it's probably not this, but is it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That is incorrect. See if you guys can get it from this. Well,
Sounds more
that's
familiar.
a tough one.
But
That's a
not-
tough one
yeah.
too. I'm thinking, man, I might be thinking the second version of the game, but these are all from Mega Man.
Oh, okay.
Mega Man.
The original.
Wow. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah. I would not.
That's a
guess
tough
that.
pull.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with another one. Back to Brandon. Can you tell me the theme of this song? The game of this song.
Fuck is this? Oh, it's over.
I have a guess, but I don't know if it's correct.
It's old NES. It's an old game on NES. God. Is it Excite Bike?
Oh, that is incorrect.
Damn it!
I am sorry to say. Brandon or Eric, your turn to steal.
For some reason I was thinking it was Earthbound. Sounded like it, maybe.
Earthbound. Final answer?
Yeah, that was what came into my head, but I don't know if that's correct.
It's a little too deep of a cut. That's Donkey Kong.
Really? Really?
I played Donkey Kong
Like
too.
Donkey Kong NES?
That's NES Donkey Kong. That's what
Damn.
it's.
That must be one of
What's wrong with me?
the other levels.
So
That's definitely not from the
it says.
first level.
No, it's the intro. That's the menu music for Donkey Kong.
Really?
You boot-
Maybe I just
you boot
skip
the
by it.
game up,
Maybe I just blow by the menu too fast.
You blow in the cartridge, and there you go. All right.
Wow.
This is back to Eric then, right?
Mhm.
All right, let's try this one.
Super Nintendo.
Okay, at first it sounded Zelda-y, but I don't it's not. The only game it would be like Link to the Past, but I don't think it's that.
I guess we're only playing to 3 today.
Yeah. Sounds definitely like you're going on an adventure. For sure. I don't think it's right, but I'll just say Link to the Past.
No.
No, yeah.
Brandon, any guesses? You had...
Chrono Trigger.
No, that is F-Zero.
F-Zero, wow. Okay.
I would not have guessed that.
I played a bit of that.
Music.
Wow.
That game's fucking still solid for
It's
Super
good.
I remember
Nintendo.
that game came out.
It's tough, but
The one on N64 is good. F-Zero GX or whatever it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
debating how much harder I want to make these on you guys because I don't want to discourage you from playing more games. But back to Brandon on this one. Let's give this one a whirl. Garrick knows this one.
I don't know if it definitely sounds familiar, but
It's a catchy little tune.
Yeah, it is. It's a little earworm there.
I guess it's NES, so I'll guess. Oh man, it was so jolly sounding. Dr. Mario.
That, my friend, is correct.
wow,
Okay.
The
that's a
Doctor
good
is
pull.
I like that game a lot, and I was like, I feel like I remember the music being really good. And then,
Nice.
Okay, nice. That is impressive. Let's see.
2-2,
Tied
baby.
to 2
Nice,
to 2.
yeah.
I don't want to give anything that's too easy.
Cue the boss
here.
music.
Let's pull something out of here.
You know what you should have done? Should have had it so he's like first one to get it right or guess it right gets the point. Just keep.
I was
going
thinking
through.
about doing that, having you guys yell out your
Yeah,
names.
maybe
but
next time we do that. I feel that'd be kind of fun.
That's true. All right. Here we go. Ready, Eric?
Yeah. Oh, this is Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That is
Is it
correct.
Okay.
Well.
What?
You said Castlevania. I'll give it to you.
I
You said
said.
Symphony of the Night.
You did say Symphony
Is
of the
that
Night,
wrong?
though.
Oh, is it?
incorrect.
Oh, is it the first one? Wow, he just gave it away.
Oh, okay, then I'm gonna say,
No, you can't
You can't
steal.
steal this one. All right, hold on.
why can't I steal you? You guessed the wrong. If I
Because
said
it's
Mario,
Castlevania NES.
you said Symphony of the Night.
I did, but Dave just gave it away. He said it's a Castlevania game. I don't know. That one's up for debate.
All right.
I said,
Why do you get the point, but you guessed wrong?
All right.
no, I don't get the point.
Nobody gets
no.
the point.
Alright.
No, I don't
Okay,
get the point.
alright. I don't want to be a stickler here, but I thought, okay, all right.
No, I'm just saying I don't think you should get to steal. That's what I was saying.
All right. Let's go back to Brandon.
It's
I
the
guess
same
then.
music, but it's just not okay. Yeah.
It's better on the NES.
Yes,
Let's be
yes.
honest. All right. Another one.
Oh, I know this. What is this? Oh, I know what this is. Oh, this is a sweet song. Boo! Boo! Yeah, baby.
yeah,
Old
baby.
songs. So good.
This song fucking rolls, dude.
You just wanted to hear the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so good. So good.
That is from.
Eric, you got it?
No, this is you.
Oh, this is my turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That is correct. That
I love that song.
is. I mean, and that's
Don't
a.
think good about that game.
Hey now. It's on my to-beat list for this year now. So
There
I
you
will
go.
put myself through the ringer and take it out. Congratulations, Brandon. It's a fun game.
Congratulations.
There's a lot of other songs on here that I wish we could listen to and play this game with, but
we will make an episode that's just like we just play the song, we just talk about it, and I don't know. I feel like there's just something to be said about the music from those games back then.
Yeah, definitely.
I had to be on repeat,
That'd be so
so they
fun.
had to be good.
yeah, and I mean, you're working with, basic technology to kind of, you don't have like, once you have like CD music and you can have digital music and stuff like that, kind of makes things completely different. So
just like the sound, like that sound, and then
it's a little crunchy.
Yeah, just like that chiptune sound. It's just like a cool sound.
Fuck yeah.
Pair that up with like awesome retro art is like in like tight controls. There you go. There's a game that
with the turtles
stands the test of time.
There you go. Nice. All right. Well, thank you boys for playing along. Why don't we get out of here? Eric, give us a little social break before we go. Let people know how they can tell us their favorite retro games.
Well, you can follow us at Nomads Fantasy, Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us at The Nomads Fantasy on TikToks. You can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nomadsfantasy. You can join our Discord at thenomadsfantasy.com/Discord if you want to hop in there and chat with us. You can play our game that we made, whatmapgame.com, if you like guessing video game maps.
Yep.
That's all I got for you.
Sweet. Thank you, Eric.
As always. Well,
safe travel, retro gamers.
Safe travels, Nomads.
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Barry, help me, please. The door won't open. Quick!
Stay away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna kick this door down. Hurry! This way!
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life. But Barry, didn't you say you're going back to the dining room to do some research? Why on earth are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.